My name is Dr. Elena Cherkin, and I'm lifestyle medicine advocate, helping middle-aged people with evidence-based strategy to improve their well-being and longevity. And today we're going to talk about sensitivity. Are you too sensitive or just human? The truth about neuroticism. So what is neuroticism? Is one aspect of Big Five, is emotional instability, sensitivity to the threat, and the general way how we approach the stress. It scores experience anxiety, depression, the way how we perceive the stresses, we avoid or we cooperate with the stress. It's involved both genetics and early environment. Early environment means your family, your caregivers, also your food, your microbiomes. We know the microbiomes and the food diversity of microbiomes playing crucial role in childhood. That predicts mental health, mental well-being, and of course physical health. It's not pathology, so it's not a mental health if you score high in neuroticism, but it's your emotional sensitivity. What is responsible and what are biological foundation? And of course is amygdala. Amygdala is the part of the brain, and it's not only amygdala, but my amygdala is more intense and one of the key responsible for neuroticism and sensitivity to any type of threat. It's lightened, then we expect threat or we experience some sign of possible danger for us, and everything here programmed genetically. Also lower prefrontal inhibition, and as a result we have a poor regulation. So it's mean prefrontal cortex, I would say the brainy part is not really communicating very well with amygdala centers, if you like, and as a result the panicking in the way actually is nothing to panic about. And this is the root of anxiety. We're worried about the future, but then you start to think about it, put everything in plan, actually is nothing to worry about. So that means the lower prefrontal inhibition playing quite important role, and serotonin and GABA activity, and also genetic part in terms of how receptors sensitive to serotonin, what is the concentration of serotonin and GABA, and actually both as well, and serotonin and GABA get produced in our gut. So what we eat truly shape our stress response. And if you have anxiety and if you not responded to the stress in the right way, how about your diet? Maybe too much ultra-processed food. Do your microbiome test and see what's happening to the gut. And actually any inflammation biomarkers, any inflammation in the body, it might be even obesity. Even you have obesity, extra weight kilos, not even need to be obese, to interleukins or CRP to produce the inflammation signal to the brain is good alert, something's going wrong, and as a result it's a threat, and the amygdala automatically get fired. So that means if you have any type, even slow inflammation process, is number one agent and dysregulation of your mental health. Heart, lungs, skin, urinary tract, gut, any single inflammation or any signal is a tiny little particles traveling with the blood and informing the brain there is a danger inside, and as a result you will have more neuroticism and you will rate more, you will have more worries, more anxiety, more avoidance, and that type of production. Of course, the most neurotransmitter responsible for it is serotonin, and we know that serotonin 56% less in women than a man. So men, by definition, they have more serotonin, but women have a much more sensitive serotonin receptors. So that means they're sensitive to that and they respond much sharper. But the men in general have a high concentration of serotonin. And the good note for everyone, serotonin 95% get produced in the gut. So that's why here people with high neuroticism, anxiety, mental well-being, your diet here is key. What do you eat? What are your microbiomes? What is your genetic preposition to that? Because we know there's a lot of genetics involved. Even the microbiomes, they create in our DNA and they're responsible for that. And then they have environment, our daily habits. So childhood, what we was eating, where we born, is that Africa, is it Middle East or Asia, is it northern country where it's very cold? Microbiomes will be different. So the location where they born, they raised, and microbiome affecting us plain also crucial role. That's why in some countries people are much happier. They have a lower depression, they have lower anxiety level. That's linked as well a little bit, and genetics and microbiomes in the place, and of course diet. Dopamine usually with people high neuroticism quite low, so they constantly need some sort of stimulation, quite often unfortunately with destructive actions like alcohol, recreational drugs, smoking, I don't know, some sort of bad habits. You might notice that it's mean you're just trying to boost this dopamine because levels there is not high enough. Noradrenaline is elevated, so it means you might be quite irritated and quite responsive to the stress. And GABA reduce, and GABA is a calming, so you just like chilled and actually relax about it. Funny enough, in our gut we have a GABA producing microbes and GABA consuming bacteria, not products, bacteria, yeah? And then you do microbiome, depend of course of microbiome test, you can see how many of them you have, and you say you're calm or not really calm, yeah? So science don't know yet why we need bacteria who eating GABA, yeah? Probably the same happen with serotonin, because serotonin get produced as well in the gut. Again, if you want to improve something, start with a good diet, boosting your serotonin, boosting your GABA products, and as well glutamate is a little bit high, and as well all this together. I don't know what exactly you have, what is your lifestyle, what is your genetic preposition to that, because that's playing quite big role. Okay, neuroticism is 40-50% depends on genetics. Yeah, obesity is not that dependent on genetics on the way how your neuroticism is. And there's thousands genes responsible how you respond to the stress. And of course, one of them will be serotonin receptors, how they transport serotonin. So you have transporters, they have receptors, we have production of serotonin, they have so many different things, dopamine as well, the gene responsible for that, break down how all these molecules cooperate together. And of course, that's very complex process. But we know the genetics is good, but in our like 50-60%, this is our environment. You know, what you learn, what do you eat, what you're collecting, and then from beginning in your life as well. Cortisol is playing a crucial role. How cortisol performing during a day or in the morning is really, I think, will be playing crucial role in terms of, are you owl or early bird? That means the cortisol spiking, high spikes in the morning, or spiking later afternoon in the morning, and that is genetics. Of course, it's very hard to change that, and the older we get, the more genetics start to kick, true genetics, to start to see this. And of course, lifestyle here is crucial, and older they get, harder is to shift it. So please note, yes, is a variance of different allele in the genes, because they've done a lot of twin studies, and they noticed that yes, they are inheritance playing a big role, and environment on the way how you get raised, because children, they show no neuroticism already since they are little, and quite early in the age. So the first step of their personality, the big five, is the from age of 2-3. So turbo twos, and they're showing their little traits, that's genetic traits. Then they're trying to show them around the age of 9. Then is in adolescence, and after that get fully formed. young adulthood, Ben will be around in the, I don't know, mid-20s, and then there might shift change, but not too much. This really depends on your lifestyle. So that's why I highly recommend you to do the test, to know where you stand it and what is your level of neuroticism. Let's talk about the hormones, because we have genetics and we can't really change genetics. It's there. You might be very sensitive. Probably you might have auntie, your grandma, granddad, or whatever, depends on your genders, because Y chromosome, what you collected there from your grandma, what genes that you pick, and what genes actually fired up, what you switched in your epigenetics, in your daily choices. So it's quite big science. So that's why let's talk about the hormones. And of course, the main hormone here is cortisol, waking up, and energy hormone. I wouldn't call it only stress, It's the hormone who wakes us up in the morning, getting ready for a day ahead and give us energy. So because when we have some threat, we need the sugar, and cortisol happily increasing this sugar blood, and that's why then you get stressed, you're not really hungry, because if you don't feel hungry, some event happens, now you're stressed and your cortisol quite high, and you need to take calming. So breathing techniques is very good. Calming. So if you notice that you're losing your appetite, that is quite a significant signal of your distress. So if you don't have appetite, different reasons why you might lose your appetite, but one of them will be cortisol elevated. They're trying to take all the resources from organism to have your glucose level high up, and then if it's prolongated and continue your distress, you have to take it seriously. Estradiol for ladies. So estrogen, but estradiol, the key molecule from estrogen family, and testosterone for the man. Actually, they modulate serotonin. So we might link that testosterone, the men have it more. That's why they have 56% more serotonin, But estradiol actually is very powerful antioxidant and playing a crucial role for sensitivity. That's why women, they're sensitive. We're sensitive. We are very fine. You say something, we already want to cry. We're fragile because of our estradiol, and this is our protection. This is our strength as well from the fear. They're more sensitive to fear, to the noises, to the bright light, or things like that. They're designed like that because we designed genetically to raise children, and then I have a tiny little noise in the baby. This might be your baby. You need to be awake. You need to go. You need to say. You need to feed and take care of next generation. That's why they're more sensitive. Our neurons more sensitive to all these things. And men, to keep calm, because they need more protect, they need to be more reasonable. They're not responding that much, because they need to be a little bit more brutal. You understand, we protect, we provide for the family, and as a result, there is happening collapse in level of neuroticism. We are more sensitive to that, and there are reasons for this, and they're more alert. I remember when my kids were little, and I was able to identify by the kids screaming, and I can identify which scream is my child, which one is not mine. That's not mine. That was mine. So I need to go and check what's going on with my voice. We're getting so sensitive to music. It's like a musician. They know, they recognize the noise, they laugh, they scream, and mothers automatically go there and identifying their child because they need their attention. They're sensitive about that. Okay, sleep amplifies stress hormone, of course, cortisol, GABA, all these melatonin, all these hormones and playing in junk, a lot of different processes. And so GABA together with estrogen, our sensitivity, that I already said, is very important. And balance is, we need to try to balance them. They're all different. We all have different experiences. Did you experience being mother? Did you experience your brain shifted to this sensitivity or not? Did you was able to get out, have extra children or not? Women, there will be different sensitivity based already in these experiences when you're going through, and neuroticism as well will play a crucial role. And worry, because we are worried. We're worried if the child is good, if he's not hungry, is this and that. We find the way they designed to worry. This is how, and the worry here is protection. It's protection because kids, human children, they're not talking quite a long period of time. And women, we need to understand just for like, yeah, that's it. What he wants, what's going on, what isn't painful, how to take care of this unspoken little baby, unborn and human baby. They get born so prematurely. It's not like like a horses. They're born and they walk themselves. Yeah, it's easy. You can imagine the human give a birth and the baby already walk themselves, feed themselves, and go on. That would be easy. But no, that's why women mothers, we need to be females. We need to be wired to worry, to be alert, waking up very quickly. What's going on? Who's crying? Who's shouting? Where is the danger? So do I need to be awake? And unfortunately, of course, sleep getting less strong. So let's see. Okay, we discussed the difference, but now let's talk about avoidance. Yeah. So we know the difference. We know we're women, they're more sensitive. Men actually is more chilled, more relaxed. I noticed they sleep even better because they're designed not waking up that sensitive comparison to women. And avoidance is behavior expression. Yeah, so we're trying to avoid some symptoms. Where is a norm and where is pathology? So because the short-term relief can reinforce the long reinforcement of a fear, and here we need to balance and understand where they need to avoid the danger and where is no danger. The problem of modern life is they get overstimulated with some threatening information. Is social media, that I don't know, it's news, it's telly, everywhere. They're showing us too much action to get our attention. And usually the bad things or dangerous things that signaling attention attract a human being 6 to 10 times more likely. And of course, marketing, advertisement, they're all trying to get your attention, that sort of things. Advice is, if you have neuroticism, minimize any type of marketing. People who want to talk to you, advertise you something and get the attention, because the way how they talk, they activate your amygdala and enforcing you to think that is very important for you. Without it, your life will be so bad and you need to act right now. Usually it's to buy something or to click on something and some sort of benefits after you. So limited. We have a knowledge, the research being done, they explore 300 times nowadays in modern life. If you have different notifications on their phones, on whatever we go, is our your attention, please. And you were to think, what's your attention? And some people ignoring and avoiding this. And so that sort of avoidance and ignorance, we're learning already ignore it or avoid it is well not beneficial. Ideally, we just need to eliminate it and minimize things what we want to avoid. Yeah, don't put your nose or don't click on things and don't use social media or platforms. Then you after that just ignore and avoid, because that also might go into your habit. You ignore, you don't listen, and then that sort of behavior continues with you sticking to you, because the behavior is a choice. I'm not good, I'll ignore you. It's a problem, it's an alert, but I'm not responding. And I think this is well what's happening nowadays. We have alerts and they're learning to ignore it. And as a result, amygdala still get activated. You're not doing anything reasonable. We're not stopping, not blocking things. They're not removing. They're still going to these platforms. They get still got this stimulation. They simply learn to ignore, and this avoidance actually not beneficial. Actually making us meant unconsciously only worse. We need to avoid this neurotic loops and explore deliberate, volunteer, the small risk taking. Yeah, we have to make a plan. Depends what you notice, what you avoid the most, what is your neuroticism, what you get irritated the most. This measures is exposure therapy with tiny little steps, because avoidance it's failure with your emotional regulation. So make sure you simply don't have as irritants. You have to getting your attention and they're stimulating this neuroticism, because we might reduce it at least 30%. Yes, that's a lot. Okay. Withdrawal and volatility is subtitles of neuroticism. Withdrawal is in terms of creating this guilt, anxiety, and they try and reduce that. And volatility outward more in terms of anger, activity, how do we respond, how to behave. So are you explosive or actually you stay calm? So there is some limbic, so it's about genetics, automatic response, the fast or slow thinking. And in this fast thinking, you start women sometimes, in comparison to the man, we are noisy. In something falling, we scream, don't we? And this is genetics for us. We straight away, screaming and shouting, it's very loud. Sometimes I'm surprised that my scream's so loud. And my boys, my male boys, why are you shouting? What's happened? They don't understand that. We're trying to explain. That is coming automatic. My response automatic, and they stay still. You see, they are teenagers, but they respond. They may respond. Rewired brain, absolutely calm and still. But I'm shouting and screaming, getting their attention. They're next to me, but I'm still shouting just in case, and let's go so automatically. It's beautiful to explain the difference, and trying to explain the difference to everyone, including my sons. This is how we programmed. They need your attention, and men usually come in because he's much calmer to any stressful situation, to fly to anything or something around. Women get nervous together for children. Yeah, so they both go higher in these terms of neuroticism, and they have some little signs about it. We're asking for the help. It's a scream for help. I'm here, come here, I need your help. So that's why we need to understand and the woman. But the problem is when women shout and scream all the time, her neuroticism is overwhelmed without the reason. And you see the faster than a man. Men thinks as well. He just observe better and say, do you need to shout? Do you need to run? And prefrontal cortex in this case communicates with amygdala better than in the female. Yeah, so we stratify. That's why we need a strong man next to us and behind, or they're asking the men stepping in, the bravery and risk-taking comparison to us women and protection. Then we feel relief. And of course, they actually want the solution for the man who's doing that. So that is very important. But they have a downtime. Yeah, they have problems, and women also need to learn to control. Mainly modern women, they need to learn how to control ourselves, because with modern life, in recent 100 years, absolutely reshaped it, and we need to practice different skills, and we live longer as well. So, so women more lean to withdrawal, and men more might respond with anger. That's why anger management and activity sometimes very brutal and very harsh. There's more for the man. And women actually prone to anxiety, to the screams and that type of behavior. And in this, both of them shaping relationships and creating this tension in relationships. So, what is culturally difference between women and men? And of course, as you probably already know, all us in the type of women, they score higher in neuroticism comparison to men. Is linked to serotonin, because we have a lower serotonin in concentration, and they're very sensitive. We have less, but that perceptive is very sensitive comparison to the men, so they're more sensitive to any stresses coming in. Yeah, so they just they design like that by the nature. As well is the culture, permission for us, showing that, and actually because with children, we are noisy, we are loud, and this is also, I would say, level of protection, because for millions of years, men going for the hunting or doing some work, quite often women stay with children, and we are loud, and this is actually not very good for predators. They are scared of noise as well, because there's noise, a lot of noise. There's probably danger. Don't go there, because if you see some battles, there's screams, shouts, and a lot of movements. Yeah, there's something the animals as well prefer to avoid the taking actions and keeping away. So it's for safety reasons, and they did it quite well. But in modern life, such safety actions not working anymore, and actually creating a lot of stress and anxiety. And as a result, of course, they trying to put the woman into male environment. The man is chilled and calm, and originally they stay quite far away, and then will be engender dangers and stuff like that. But usually there's been quite short period of the time, and now women and men need to spend much more time together, everywhere, at work, at home, and we have this lack of understanding each other. We didn't build in the past 100 years. We somehow still grow separately in different directions, and now we as never need knowledge and discovery of each other. And please note that majority of research in psychology and neuroscience been done as well 50, 60, sometimes 70 years ago. And they're changing. We're changing because we have social media, we have artificial intelligence. And so with different words, we have to understand, we have to learn time non-stop. Yeah, taking into account of new generation coming with a new brain, new reward, new traumas, and new different attachment styles and new culture. So being a track is important, and they need to understand that and learn, yeah, because we live longer, technology going very fast, we have a new needs, but the most of that is have knowledge in our brain, prefrontal cortex, together with our amygdala, fear centers, to think more, is that a fear or actually is beneficial, and calming down with self-control, whatever it is, any gender you are, you have to learn to control yourself and to calm down yourself. Yeah. Let's talk about intelligence, because we all want to be super intelligent, very high IQ. And I don't know the person. Some people don't want even to do the IQ test because they believe it's super smart and super intelligent. Okay, it's up to you, but I will tell you some truth about it. So actually, the most neurotic people will be with high IQ. So high IQ you have, the more neurotic you will be. More chances that you respond and overthink of all the possibilities, and you might be quite pessimistic or with negative future orientation, because you constantly think about all the possible scenarios. The connection between the brain and amygdala is quite good. That's why you have a good IQ. And you calculate every single, very quickly comparison people with lower IQ, your brain working much better. It's genetics. Yeah, so that means we can't really change that. As I said, your neuroticism is genetics. But the good news that optimal IQ is from 105 to 120. And everything about 130 IQ, guys, please control yourself. You might be very smart, and please don't be very happy about it, because you will say, yes, you're quite neurotic, you overthink everything, and might actually pay you back. So here is like a dilemma about it. When you don't have IQ, your IQ lower than 70, you can't join the army. Originally, IQ testing was done for army. Can you join the army or not in terms of your intellectual properties? Because if your IQ is lower than 70s, in the United States, you're not taking boys and young men into the army because it's simply dangerous. And there's inadequate response, but everything above 70s will be fit to join the army. So it means under the 70 is not very good, and everything over 130. So that's why people who succeed or are very intelligent or academically very knowledgeable, they might be quite hard to communicate with, and they have their own challenges. So don't really overthink, because or do the IQ test. If you've done it, you will know where it's come from, or you higher neuroticism, and you know that could be, you can work on it, yeah. But you know, it will be a little bit more challenges because you constantly will try overthink and think about all the potential scenarios. But use it as a strength, yeah. So use it as a strength, not necessarily as a negative side of your personality. So why the high IQ is a challenging, or the people with higher, or you believe you're much more intelligent than you are, or whatever you do or not to do, because you overanalyze, and overanalyzing different types of symptoms, creating this paralyzed. As a result, you might be avoidant, you might not take decision, or you might take much slower for you to take a decision. Yeah. So because you're trying to balance all the pluses and minuses in between, And as a result, you have much more awareness about potential risks, and you have these concerns at all time, and you're trying to again get more and more information. As a result, people with much higher IQ we might slower to taking risks because they delaying or ignoring things, and actually it's harder for them to take decisions. They actually as well emotionally less active because emotions required this fast decision and follow your gut feelings, and they can't do because they constantly need to everything over and analyze the brain, calculate all the scenarios. This super fast computer there trying to analyze there, not letting giving the emotions and this life thrive, connections, love, joy, flourish in full because they over obsess. They think it. So what I want to say, we all want to be super kind. We all want to be super intelligent. This is, but they don't notice the downtime and negative side of the people who truly live in high IQ, the high achievers, and the trouble and the problems that all coming in every single day again. So if you feel sometimes you're suppressing your emotions, you're overthinking things, you have a high IQ, so the good news is you can still improve it. As I said, with the diet, you can have a meditation, and you're trying to get connections with mindfulness, breathing techniques, even yoga, or find some flow states, how you can be disconnected from this state. So don't worry. The good thing is not so many of them. They people with IQ over 130, only 5%. So not really worried about it. So that's why let's talk more about success and what IQ would be in terms of neuroticism. Will be the best. Okay. The helping and the best IQ in these terms of neuroticism average will be 115 to 125. Actually, the most successful people in terms of richness and their productivity was around 117 because they balance and emotions and success and taking risks, and actually they balance it quite nicely with emotion and intellectual, and actually adaptation and integration here is the key, not intellect. So this means if you are in the range from around from 100 to 120 or 125, you are in the golden range. You can control your stress, you can balance your life, you have a better regulation of your emotions, and it's easier for you to do for people with very high IQ or lower. So that means a lot of things will depend on you. I want to mention as well about the sociopaths and neuroticism because they might sometimes be overreactive, but some people are super cruel, super calculative, and they're calm, aren't they? They quite often there is a bosses. They are taking management teams. They are your CEO of the companies, the directors, the managers, and they actually quite cold-hearted. Anything happens, they don't show this neurotic behavior, and they're very, very low in their neuroticism. But the thing is, if they don't have low in empathy towards people, if they're not really giving and caring and that sort of things, they might be sociopaths. So if you're low, higher in neuroticism and you're responding, you might not be a very good manager because your emotions will be out of that. But if you're super calm and you're not very, very kind person, so you might be stingy, you might be not really giving person, so that sort of thing, counting every single penny to make sure it's not going here and there, and you calm, like I don't know, like a stone. So you probably, or that person might be sociopath. So low in neuroticism, they cold, they calculative, they're not responding on the emotional way the same way as a normal human being, and as a result they have a blindness, but the job will be done. And this is something in the workplace, and as a human here, they pay more, isn't it? But that's why rich people or more successful people in office or your boss quite often might dislike it, and this is the reason why. I'm not saying that your boss or CEO of your company automatically a sociopath, you're not at all. And if your boss showing emotions, shouting and screaming and sometimes even crying, he's a nice guy, everything is fine, It just needs a time, and they all need to learn how to work, because sociopaths are dangerous. Yeah, might be not responding. Yes, it might be super resilient and they cope to the stressful situations, and they might be quite cruel in their decisions, but they're also not giving us this warmness, and they will be hard to work, and this type of people will be toxic. That's why they won't be having this neuroticism. We won't have this emotion, this smile and cry, and this drive up and downs, because we are humans. And for second part, what we have to do is to recognize it and take a nice deep breath. Slow down, learn these techniques, and say ourselves, control our emotions in the moment. Sometimes just let it be, let your emotions go, but sometimes we need to understand the need to go into control and know how we reduce that. Okay, what is the lifestyle modulators? What can help us? Because sometimes, you know, if you get into oversensitive or over responsive, then you shouldn't be. What might help you to create this resilience? Or ideally, we want to create this balance. So where it's okay to really to be very funny and laugh, or even sometimes cry. If it's women, that's why women cry so much, because they high neuroticism. We're getting sensitive, and there's something happens as well. So in the night time and evening, then they are tired, isn't it? They are more prone to cry. Exercise is great opportunity, because exercise increases serotonin as well, so it's helping to the gut. The gut is moving. They know when you exercise, you move your body, your gut is getting healthier, happier. And BDNF is a brain-delivered neurotrophic factor, and that's helping the brain. What does connectivity? Connections. The neurons are growing, the connection in your brain getting better, and as a result, you might be a little bit better to think, should I worry or I'm not? I will be absolutely fine. Is a great factor. As well, lion mane or some sort of mushrooms, they're also showing some sort of improvement of neurons activity and signaling. Dance, another great connections. Then you get connection to the body, because dance is emotion, dance is a movement, slightly different, and the dance boosting oxytocin. And what is really like in the past 50 years is there is no anymore dance pose the same I used to have, because I remember when I was a child, 40, 50 years ago, the people were dancing, the men invited the woman for the dance, and that was the first connection in boosting this oxytocin. We don't have this anymore. We don't dance anymore. We don't know there is a class. It's been even the couples. When did you dance last time with your loved one? Where did you touch each other's hands, getting closer and hear heartbeat and breathe? Because it's amazing, amazing connections, and very, very good for stress management. So if you're a woman, or even the man getting stressed, or you're going for the challenges time, please dance 15 minutes a day. Just switch on your favorite music and just practice that movement. Get this connection with your hands and with the movement of the body, because you stimulate your brain and you tell me what to do, just to move slowly, improve serotonin, improve oxytocin, in getting more sensitive to, you dance not alone. You might dance alone, or you might dance with your partner. Get these connections and this amazing exchange. Reading also increasing empathy. That means you live the somebody else's story. It's a storytelling. You can write down your own story, what's happening. Then you are the key is things happening with you, and as a result, you might have a more empathy towards yourself, or towards your friend, or towards your family, or towards anybody from the book. Music, again. Music, just switched on in music, listen the tones, some sort to calm down, or the music you relax and use meditation, or again in the dance, just move your body, try to get connection, and of course is nature exposure, or dance in nature, or cycling, or hiking. That lowers your cortisol and also boosting your oxytocin. Connection with your animals, animal therapy is super strong. And mainly for loneliness. If people feel lonely, connection is something I like. I love foxes. London foxes are very well known, and I feed them. And you know what? There's such a source of joy. I know they prune my garden and destroy the garden, And this is like a dilemma, getting really like anger, terrible, I want to kill them all. And then I'm still get connected to them, and I feed them, and I support them, and I talk to them. And this is an anger, frustration. Sometimes I think that's it, a withdrawal, because they think, oh my God, and the new generation is there. But no, this nature, the garden is a nature. They're not sharing with animals. They're also living in our environment. The boosting oxytocin, resilience, they make me stronger, they make me smile in the morning. And then you see, I still, even sometimes when I'm getting out and see what they have done, I'm getting quite negative. But this is great training to calm down, just breathe, and think how much benefits, what they give us to us, how we can get connected and keep an alertness. Don't let them very close or still get in actions if they get in danger. So this balance is super important in any type of stress management. Okay, let's now talk about the physical activity, dance and the gym. I recommend you both. If you have a partner or you're disconnected to your own body, the dance will be my priority, because it's different type of releasing oxytocin, this type of connection. Women get connected with herself. It's really great boost of sexuality. So that's why girls and women who's dancers, they always will be more orgasmic, and they will be better in bed, I would say, in sexual activity, because they have much more connection to her whole body. So this is trick for the man. If you want really unforgettable sex, the girls who dancers, they always will be much better, because they practice and they're connected to their body, and they feel in every sign of her body. They in the rhythm, in expressions, again, is woman is dance, so that's why is dancing, women always will be dancers, and they're always beneficial. And for every single girl, recommended to get actually connected better to her own body, and actually getting more release of oxytocin. So they have a more pleasure, they enjoy it much more, because they enjoy the body, they're connected to their body much better than just girls who go into the gym. And this is a problem, the women going to the gym, they're boosting endorphin release and highing up the testosterone, because they're getting stronger. And this is the last stop. They might be more dominant, and of course, it's still the strength. The gym is making that sort of things, but women need to be careful. I'm a little bit worried when I see all these the six packs, super tan, and yeah, girl, and then I have more muscles than the men, and they compete with the men. No, just trying to connect with your body and dance, and then the men, they feel all the weights will fall off everywhere, because of course the power of a dance is not the same, and of course the power of woman body in dance connection, they're not the same. So dear ladies, mainly in the middle age groups, they need to revive somehow, I don't know how, to boost this connection. Come to the man, invite him to get connected and start to dance. Choose a guy in the gym and start to move around and invite him for the dance, white dance, or the man, invite the woman you prefer in the gym to get connected and actually improve this oxytocin boosting for both of you. And I think the gyms as well, they need to introduce this dancing much more, because in terms of stress management, they're both important, and depends on your life and depends on the stress or your neuroticism level. That's actually very good idea to start. Okay, because both they stabilize your hormones, they create the strength, they improve in your microbiomes, because of moving, serotonin production, and GABA is a physical, emotional, and physical combination. Of course, it's our joy. And plan your week, plan your days, having all these interactions and dance, even by yourself. Even if you don't have a partner, just switch on your favorite music, have a space, and move. Allow yourself to be connected with yourself. Even if you're man as well. Men usually not that oxytocin boosting. They don't get so much comparison to women, that actually they need as well to boost it. Okay. We discussed that women, they're high in neuroticism, and we're much higher in response. We responded to the stressors because of why serotonin, they agree. And but actually this sensitivity making us more flexible. We are more flexible, and we are like a Play-Doh. So if you have a young woman, the younger she is, you can shape her whatever you want. Actually, we are that flexible. That's why women, they live in their house, their home to their husbands, because men, they are stubborn. Yes, they are flexible. Yes, they are more resistant to the stress. It's very hard to change them because they're less sensitive to change. It's harder for them. That's why women as well, they easily may change religion. They're more flexible in different, I don't know. That's why men, believe me, if you do the right way, your sexual preferences, if she never learn about it, she will learn and she will love it, because you should know how to work with material and how to change it, and women quite quickly will be trained if you like. No, I'm not a woman, not a dog, the same as a man, but in terms of flexibility, it's much easier to change a woman or change behavior in the woman than more resilience in the man. So that's why women, be patient. If the changes come in a single change, even actually in ketone production, ketogenesis, slimming, and no weight loss, women, they're more responsive, because estrogen as well playing a crucial role in here, and the serotonin as well, probably linked, because estrogen placing the fat under the skin more in the hips, and they're super active. Yeah, and then losing weight or producing this ketone, they're burning much faster than visceral fat. And the men, they have a bellies. Why? Because visceral fat in one location, they not really accumulate too much fat in their thighs and hips. Yeah, but we are more emotional. So this is a trade-off. There is no free lunch in here. So we need to know the price of flexibility, the price that both genders can do, the benefit and the strength and the downtime. So remember, we can give so much to each other, and they need to learn how we cooperate to each other, and how the way to do that is your responsibility to know yourself, and then to tell your partner, listen, this is me, this is what's happening, and I might be a little bit higher or I might be a little bit lower in neuroticism, and this is what causes, and I'm here and there. When you learn to understand, get connected to yourself, accept the way you are, your genetics, your habits, your childhood will bring you to adulthood, the better you'll be able to connect to yourself and connect with your partner, and in making reasonable changes. We're all capable to changes. Yes, men a little bit slower than a woman, is harder, and older they get, harder to change both genders. We both getting much more. We're not that Play-Doh anymore. So that's why we need to exercise. We need to have a learn how to stimulate the brain and be more flexible. Yeah, emotional education is crucial for both. We need to learn and understand both genders, the strengths or weaknesses also strengths. Yeah, so we need to play equally, understand it, and support teaching, support this growth, because women is more we are more flexible. We're more flexible in the knowledge, so that's why women actually more ready to go learn something new because it's new and we are flexible. Men is harder. Yeah, so they prefer to stick to their own knowledge, to something that works, and they don't want to destroy it. And women, it's working, let's me try something new. You know, they very, because they're so flexible. They're trying something new and not sure it's working. And the man got, no, it's working well. I'm very conservative, and I'm gonna say, don't need to fix anything because everything is working. So now let's talk about healthy and unhealthy neuroticism, where it's passing. So we know where some neuroticism is healthy, this natural, women a little bit more sensitive, much more sensitive comparison to men, and we know why. Healthy is sensitivity reflection. Then you get sensitive, and you know this irritates you. You're not stepping there, or you're trying to not avoid, but you take reasonable steps to stop this something to irritate you. You need to neutralize, and you find solution. Change your job, change your career. You know, divorce if you're not happy marriage. You know, take reasonable steps to change, or losing your weight, start to exercise. I don't know, things to do, what in your list that causing you such distress. And unhealthy neuroticism that you're avoiding, or you try and over control the situation, and that is not healthy. Yeah, so this is because the majority of the problem, when you ignore, when you avoid the issue, the problems only accumulate and have a negative effect on your health, your well-being, and your loved one, and in society. As a result, we have overwhelmed it's not very easy to change a job. So not that flexible. We don't have that much flexibility. 20, 30 years ago, we can find the jobs literally the same day, and tomorrow you can start a new job. You can't do this now. So you need to plan. You need to plan. And it's taken now at least 3 months to start a new job because you have so much bureaucracy. And it's not helping. The government and the countries need to step to help us to be more flexible, for business to be more flexible, to hire new things. If something is not working, something is not good. But no, they create in 3 months. So 3 months to leave a job, you might be, excuse me, dead man. Is that toxic? It's too long, 3 months. And you can imagine to change the job, you need to go through bureaucracy, to change the environment, or divorce. Oh my God, it's like, I don't know, it's like a death. To go for divorce is taking years. It's not normal. You want to get out for a relationship being toxic, and it should be much faster. But unfortunately, modern society make every super important, crucial for the stress, for our well-being, as complicated as long as possible. So literally going through the hell, when you're changing the job, when you're losing the job, we separate, starting getting divorced, and actually all this tension not helping, not employment, no family, no our well-being, mental health, and our neuroticism. And as a result, they become more avoidant. So what they're happening, they start to avoid divorce, or avoid communication, or avoid decision making, because it's such a long journey and you have no idea. In 3 months, anything can happen. It's a lot. To get divorced in the UK, it's just like forever. In different countries, that should be quite straightforward procedure. People don't want to be anymore together. But no, let's benefit, let's create the hell for everyone, and you remember this experience. And then people would get avoiding relationships, avoiding get married again, avoiding get tied, and having this traumatized by actually modern bureaucracy. And the government should take it seriously. Everything taking too long, then actually should be quite easy, straightforward, and supporting mental well-being of every single person. So that's why it's unhealthy, and majority of us living, because we live in a society, we're creating this bubble, and we are part of this bubble. And they are predictions. What environment, where do you live, they will be predicted of your health awareness. And so far, it's super high. It's the highest level as ever. Yeah, level of neuroticism, level of anxiety, depression, because all and food and microbiomes and the actions and the law and regulations and level of stimulus, nothing is on our side. Actually, everything is against us. So that's why we need to learn emotion literacy, know the basic, where is it, name it, where it's come from, and trying to neutralize, do act to reduce that. And of course, be plastic and be flexible, take them fast enough, move fast. If it's not serving you anymore and causing you a lot of stress, distress, affecting your health, please act, do something about it, withdraw yourself from your work, from the marriage, relationships, your job what you hate, or your career, change and find a new possibility. So CBT for cognitive behavior, that will help you. Cognitive behavior is behavior, changing your actions. What do you do? The way how you think and where you respond. Mindfulness for emotional distancing. For example, if you're over emotional to getting very close to your heart, then it's somewhere, I don't know, in something happened very, very far away, nothing linked to you hurt, and you start to cry, getting emotions linked to you or your relatives, to not relevant things. In this case, you definitely need to work on yourself. Exercise, physical activity, dance, connections, and of course nutrition, omega-3 and magnesium. Magnesium, very important, crucial for physical activity and contraction muscles. So magnesium playing role in the central nerve system, is in contractions and the movement and this action. So you need magnesium. Glucinate, I recommend at the night, 2 tablets, and omega-3, of course, very good for the brain, for aging, and for this fast for neurons activity, because neurons have myelin, and myelin is super important in omega-3, to keep it, I would say, covered. Yeah. Sleep optimization, again, for the brain, because brain, if you're not sleeping enough, can't tidy up and clean jet wash, tidy up all the neurons and tidy up, remove all the mess, all the toxins, and actually accumulating after that. If it's over accumulated in the time not taking care of other thoughts, of other stress management, of nutrition things, accumulates, creating this plaque. It's like the teeth, if you like, a little bit. And as a result, you just start dementia, Alzheimer's, etc. And that is very long death, very long, uncomfortable for everyone, and quite it's preventable. I would say it's preventable. Eventually, probably everybody will get that earlier, like probably later. We're living much longer, so that's why Alzheimer's, dementia getting more. But neuroticism here playing a crucial role, trying to learn to relax and stay more positive and take a reasonable step, and compassion, kindness, and social connections. As the end and conclusions, neuroticism is biological sensitivity, is not a flaw. You can change it. Yes, we have genetic predisposition. Women more sensitive by default. We need it, and that's a survival for the next generation. And this is our job. Our job to worry, our job to be sensitive to sounds, and the siren, if you like, the alarm for the man, for the attention, please, man. They have we hear in danger, or we believe I can hear, I can sense, and quite often women is sensitive in this. Intellect level, of course, if you're very intelligent, is beneficial, is great, you're super smart, you think, but trying to understand limitations and downsides of your high intelligence and high IQ, trying to find the time for yourself and grow your emotions and improve and grow your emotional vocabulary, emotional actions, and read emotions up. Is practice. With practice, we all can improve. Regulations transform into awareness. So once we know about ourselves, once we know what material we are working on with ourselves, and we can, the best way to work is you work on yourself. Nobody will know better what you're going through than yourself. You can spend hours and years have somebody, you are your best friend. So better you understand, get this connection to yourself, the better progress you'll be able to do. So balance emotions, balance your food, balance your body, balance your activities and the life, because success is not your richness, is not financial, is not what you achieved, it's the way how you live in your life daily, and it's hard. I would say it's the hardest things is to balance the life, and it always will be in the choice, and there's no free lunches. It's always trade off. Nothing is free. If you choose one, you lose another one. So it's very important you to accept of letting go things, because you can't hold everything. So let it go, forgive, and move on. Education replaces avoidance with actions. More you learn about things, the new things, and your new avoidance, what you notice you have, more you learn about yourself, more actions you'll be do, and stop avoiding things, and you explode. The fear will slowly, the knowledge, your fear goes down. So you need to know your partner, yourself, your family, society, very important. We're social animals, we need society. And aim here is to be sensitive, to be emotional. We want to be, but with stability. We should know that the joy will bring you joy, and you'll love it. And if somebody will bring you joy, they see the smile, and it's stable and predictable. Yeah. But if somebody do upsetting you, they know, oh, that would be anger, and that is what I would deserve. And yes, this is what happens. So don't do the bad things for not to give response. So anger is positive and good emotion, and joy also. We need to balance and trying to say, listen, I might be angry, I might be very angry, and I will be angry, and I will be joyful and tearful as well. So I'm a human, and I know my limits. So that's it for today. And the next lecture, we're going to discuss how neuroticism changes in the middle age. And this is a fascinating topic that we need to talk it extra as a separate lecture. So everybody, wishing you calm life and control emotions.